No, I'm not scared, PJ. The future is bright. Just look at it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch once again. And what do I have for you today? Mike, one of the senior developers from 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 125. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us some insight into what is coming into the future. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to kick this off, and Mike's going to actually answer 3 questions back to back. Dungeons, creating legendaries, and visuals or graphics. Go.
Any plans for additional dungeons? Yes. We are looking at additional dungeons. There will not be, I can tell you this for certain, there will not be any additional dungeons in 1.1. I don't know of any specific additional dungeons.
That makes me sad. No new dungeons for the next update.
That are in the works or anything like that, but additional dungeons are something we will be planning on doing. Are there any plans to make an additional way to make legendary items? Yes, we do have plans on that, but not what you're expecting by my answer. Is there?
I've never heard them say that before. They do have a plan for another way to make legendaries.
Any plans for a graphics update in the near future? I mean, we just did a pretty big graphics chunk. I mean, it looks pretty great, doesn't it? Please validate me, even though it's not my work. Yes, we're always looking at ways to make the graphics better, right? Like that's sort of a, hey, finally got that prophecy finished. That's hilarious. Yes, we are looking at graphics changes, improvements all the time. We're always looking at ways we can improve that, whether that's through engine upgrade to enable like DLSS and FSR and things like that, or if it's just like looking at maybe an animation or VFX that's a little outdated, or like an SFX. There's the quality of the like visual and all that sort of stuff, quality that we have in the game. We're always trying to push it higher and higher, and sort of a balancing act between adding new stuff and improving the stuff we have.
DLSS, please. Minion tooltips.
As far as I know, it is not possible to see damage scaling for minions. Yes, that is true. Why is there no tooltip similar to spells? Is there a plan to implement this for minion abilities? Yes. The short answer is we've been unable to do it properly yet. It is like as inaccurate as you think the ones are now. They're wildly more inaccurate. So we're I think it's come down to there's other things that are more important than it right now still, but if we find a good way to do it, yeah, sure. More like yes please than yeah, sure.
I can tell you this is coming. This isn't they're not going to do it. Again, it's just about priority list. Minion tooltips have never been in the game. We have wanted them for a very long time. They have assured us they will come. We just don't know when. Updated character sheet.
Plans to extend character sheet. Yes. So reflect stats of equipped skills, for example, skill R&B slot. Yeah. Yes, we are working on improvements here. I've got a PR in the pipeline that will fix the, I think I have the node. This node, the block chance to glancing blow conversion, blade dancer, dodge to glancing blow conversion. There's another one, and the boots as well, the foot of the mountain. Those conversions don't show up in the character sheet. So yeah, like we are working on improving the character sheet. We're working on expanding the character sheet. So it'll have like, we actually have the UI already built for it, but it's not functional yet. For like skill specific stuff. So you'd be like fireball, and it has fireball's getting this much increase from not from these things, but fireball's getting this much increased fire damage. It's getting this much increased spell damage. It's getting this much increased crit chance. It's all these things. So yeah, we're working on it.
That is pretty cool. So you could see he's already seen it, right? It's just not functional, which means there's going to be another graph that comes off right here, and it actually has your skills and the breakdowns for those skills. That is going to be a nice quality of life. ALTS corruption sharing.
Former D3, D4 fan here. I'm wondering, is their multiplayer progression system getting a revamp where both can benefit from doing monoliths, so gain corruption on each of their own progress? Short answer is no. This is asking about corruption sharing between alts. There are... we do have some plans in this category that will make alts smoother and smoother to get through the endgame systems, to stay challenging, more consistently challenging in-game experience for more appropriately consistent, more appropriately challenging content. There we go. More appropriately challenging content for alt characters as they progress through endgame. There we go. Which is a fancy way of saying kinda. We agree it's a problem and we're working to solve it. It's not gonna be just a straight like, hey, all of your corruption is now just shared across all your characters. Have fun. It's, here's some system changes that do some cool stuff that make this experience way more fun. Go have fun, you know. So we do have plans to improve that aspect, and I'm intentionally being super duper vague because we just decided on them yesterday, and they're not implemented yet and not tested, so they could change.
That's the first time I've ever heard them even mention changes to leveling and progressing alts. Just decided it's gonna happen. Now, if you've played Last Epoch for a long time, you know that for 1.0 launch, the API got messed up, and it's still messed up. Anytime you're crafting, that window pops up. It drives you absolutely nuts. Still hasn't been fixed. Listen to this.
When do you expect to release the API to the public? I'm not sure. I'm a little surprised we haven't yet. So as far as I know, it's going really well. There might be some problem I'm unaware of. But I would say there's a good chance it's on someone's radar at least. Maybe we'll do like expand the early rollout or something. I don't know. But as far as I know, it's going pretty well.
I'm going to take that as soon. Bringing sound to the loot filter.
Any plans to add a loot filter sounds minimap icons? So
Please.
When monsters dying around you, it feels necessary. Oh, behind you, it feels necessary. This is a question we get a lot, actually, and it's not something that we have specific plans for right now, but I do want to recognize that it is a problem that we do need to address. How we're going to address that problem is unclear.
Step 1, identify the problem. Our weekly question on set items.
Yes. Thank you for putting that back. You can see me trying to remember it. Okay, set items, having some new system to work with them to make them relevant. Yes, we do have plans to make set items relevant. I don't have any specific details on what that's going to be. It's not just going to be slapping LP on them. It's going to be, it's going to feel very different. We want to have, we want to make set items be exciting to have drop, and to start incorporating the set items in some way into your endgame builds more than they are now. We don't want set items to take over from the really like just start monopolizing your gear loadouts, but we do want them to be present. I think in a perfect world, if you were to look at the average character, and I don't necessarily mean like there's always gonna be outliers and exceptions to this. I think if you look at the average character, you'd see a venerable rainbow of gear in the slots. So you'd see like some uniques, some legendaries, some exalteds, maybe a couple rares here and there, some experimental items, some something else items, some something else items, maybe a set item, you know, and like having these this high variety of types of items showing up across your gear, I think is really what we're aiming for.
I seriously love that. And something that they've talked about in the past, and again, this isn't confirmed, this is just something they've mentioned, is imagine every set has 5 pieces, 6 pieces, 4 pieces, but they only have a bonus for wearing 2 of them. That way you have a variety of different items, but you only have to equip 2. So that way you're not forced to wear a helmet. If you want that 2-set bonus, you wear the belt and the ring, or the helmet and the armor, or the amulet and the boots. That way you can incorporate those other build defining items on there and not be locked into that set. Love the idea. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Sad news for skill MTX.
Hello. I was wondering when the next batch of MTX is coming. We'd love to see skill effects and such like in PoE. Skill effects are coming. You can see them. Boom. They've got little UI elements there. Skill effects will not be coming next patch. Most major, or the cycle, new MTX content is coming on major cycle releases. Skill MTX will not be coming next patch.
There you have it. Passive tree threshold nodes.
All right, there's something in plans to bring special passives for X allocated points in older masteries like new ones. Yes, these are the threshold nodes. This is a threshold node. So this threshold node, if you're playing in windowed mode and you alt-tab the game with a tooltip up, the tooltip will stay and let you move your cursor around. Haha.
Good
also,
tip.
it's looking for taking screenshots, which is why this is here. So yes, these extra like 5-point bonus, these are called threshold nodes. And yeah, we're going to slowly add them in everywhere. We're not planning on doing a let's go add threshold nodes to everyone pass. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. All at once type thing, but yeah, we will be adding them everywhere.
You will notice if you've played this game a long time, or actually even if you're new to it, that the older masteries feel a little different than the newer masteries. And that's because you will see things like this, threshold nodes, that add tremendous power to the character. It's a reason why a lot of people play the newer masteries. All right, everyone, we have come to the final question for Dev Chat 125, and it's around saving characters, really loadouts inside of Last Epoch. Mike, as always, thank you for continuing your Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. So much good information and shows how much you care about us. Thank you so much. To ask before I play this final question, ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but of course, only if you think I've earned it. And if I haven't earned it, I will work harder for you. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. It is the best way to support into the future. We're going to be doing movie night. We continue to do game nights. You get the most bonus content. You get access to the VIP lounge. It is the best way to support. First link in the description is the Patreon. I'm done. Mike's going to talk for a little bit, and I'm just going to tell you right now that I fully agree with everything he says around character loadouts. Listen to this.
There are plans to allow us to save builds. This question has some extremes that I'm not quite sure how extreme you're hoping for. The short answer is no, we don't. I think that there is room for I think there might be room for some build saving stuff here and there, where it helps you. Like this is what happens to me. So I usually have a stream character that I'm playing where I'll just only play it on stream. And I'll come back to that character. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, what was I doing? Oh no, like was it this node I was going for, that node I was going for? And I take the wrong node and it like derails the build. And and so sometimes I think that if there was a way to like track what you were planning, that sort of thing, it would be extremely useful for a lot of players. There is the pitfall of it becoming a like, hey, download this build planner and slap it in, like how we do like the loot filter. I'm gonna make that better right now because it was a little too loose, I think. But where it's like download this build and you just like follow the build in game, and there's problems there because you end up in situations where people are not learning the nodes themselves, which I know not everyone wants to do, but it's a lot easier to like make your own builds and to make adjustments on the fly to your build. Maybe you can't find some item, and so you have to decide like, hey, okay, I'm gonna substitute with this. What's the best way to like compensate for that on the fly to still be functional until I find that item? And you know, none of that learning happens if you're like strictly following like like just an imported build, and you're just like, okay, it just auto levels up, and I've got my build that's automated, everything's there. And I think there's room for new players to really get trapped in a situation where they are really struggling and don't understand why. And having some semblance of like reading those nodes a little bit, and putting the points in manually and all sorts of stuff does really help to educate players. I mean, and the flip side is not everyone wants that, but so it's a tricky balancing act, and I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do. If you're asking about more of a like a D3 armory system where it's just like one click, literally everything changes, your gear changes, your passives change, your what skills you've selected change, all that just like instantly just changes, and you're in the new build. No, we're definitely not doing that.